For the 5 poorest years of Victor's youth, I spent 5 years with him living in the basement. When he earned his first 30 million, I had already died of illness. Later, the day he became the richest man in the northern city, I was reborn. After being a stubborn fixture in the river of forgetfulness for 2 years. The king of hell, finding me troublesome, gave me a chance to settle my unfinished business. He allowed me to return to the human world. When I opened my eyes again, I was standing in a bustling subway station. The huge billboards and electronic screens were plastered everywhere with advertisements for the Fu Corporation. I raised my hand and touched that familiar face on the screen, unable to hold back my tears. A few schoolgirls held up their phones, shooting from every possible angle. One long-haired girl wore a lovesick expression. Victor's ad this time is way too handsome. It absolutely crushes all the pretty boys and celebrities in the industry. No wonder his company always has a CEO shoot the ads. Looking like that, it would be a waste not to. High intelligence, high education, unbelievably handsome, no scandal. He's literally my dream husband material. Can you imagine? This perfect top-tier guy is only 25, oh my god. The short-haired girl taking the photo scoffed, what a pity he's married, and married young to boot. The long-haired girl shrugged, you mean his short-lived wife? How long has she been dead? So what, he can't be widowed for the rest of his life just because of someone who's dead? You're absolutely right. I couldn't help but agree. The girl jumped at my words, rolling her eyes in displeasure. Who are you? I raised a hand to wipe my face and murmured, me? I'm Victor's wife. The other girls burst into hysterical laughter, mocking me. Victor's gone and gotten himself another crazy admirer. Big sister, do yourself a favor and pee on a mirror and take a look. Then they treated me like a lunatic, chatting and laughing as they left. Only after their remarks did I come to my senses. I hurried to the bathroom to check myself in the mirror. Seeing my reflection chilled me halfway to the bone. A face so ordinary you'd lose it in a crowd, utterly unremarkable. I felt a little sore. In my previous life at least I had a pretty face. So when I first moved into Victor's house, he had just broken a leg and was in an awful mood. He snapped at everyone who came by and could scare people off without trying. At the time I relied on my looks, dragged my little suitcase, and barged so forcefully into his life. A few days ago he wouldn't even let me through the door. So I curled around my knees and slept at the entrance for a few days with a sleeping bag. On the third night the temperature plummeted and I sneezed a dozen times outside. The door suddenly opened, leaning against it, I stumbled backward and almost took a nasty fall. But a pair of arms caught me steady. Then he pushed me away with a look of disgust and rolled his wheelchair into the room. From his awkward expression I knew he had softened. Victor couldn't stand it when I acted coquettish. In my junior year I went to see a traditional Chinese doctor. To save money and to help his leg heal faster, I taught myself acupuncture and ended up puncturing my own leg until there wasn't an unmarked patch of skin left. Later he saw it. His eyes instantly reddened, and yet he was furious. I clung to his arm and turned on the charm, and whatever temper he had vanished. Then he stepped up with that handsome, stern face and pinched my cheek, his tone still fierce. Try pricking yourself again next time? But now, the face in the mirror. I tried making a coquettish expression. Then I fell silent. If I went to Victor with this face and told him I was his early deceased, ill-fated wife, he'd surely be so frightened he'd call the police. But I miss him so much. I want to see him. My phone buzzed. I answered a woman's call. Hello, Clara, what's going on? Weren't you supposed to be at an interview this afternoon? Why haven't you arrived yet? I replied in surprise, interview? The other party clicked her tongue. Have you lost your mind? You don't remember something this important? It's for a housekeeping job at the CEO's home at the Fu Corporation. Where on earth are you going to find a job this good? Victor? I almost called out. Someone spoke beside the woman, and she reminded me again, hurry up, there's only an hour left. Didn't they already send you the address? After the call ended, I turned to the text message with the address. Then I hurried to catch the subway and rushed over. The address was far. After getting off the subway, I took a bus to the nearest stop. Then I walked another half-hour to reach it. My whole body was soaked in sweat. Just as I was nearly there, a light rain began and I arrived bedraggled. I hesitated for a moment, then pressed the doorbell. The door opened. A young woman's face appeared in the doorway. She was still in her loungewear. Seeing her dressed like that, I froze for a moment. Immediately after, a faint ache rose from the depths of my chest. The woman glanced at me. "Are you the nanny coming for the interview today?" I nodded. She walked inside and explained things as she went. Mr. Victor's previous housekeeper quit. "There isn't much housework. Mr. Victor rarely eats at home, so you'll mostly just help keep the place tidy. Oh, Mr. Victor has trouble sleeping, so remember to keep things quiet. There's a locked room on the second floor you must not enter, absolutely not. Don't go poking around, the things in that room are very expensive, and you couldn't afford to pay for anything you break." She showed me around upstairs while eyeing me. "The nanny's room is the one at the end of the second floor hallway. You look quite young, and you seem well educated. What made you want to become a nanny?" I was about to think up an excuse to brush her off, but she smiled and said, "I see girls like you all the time. After all, Mr. Victor is so outstanding, but it's better to keep certain improper thoughts to yourself. Mr. Victor has very high standards." I didn't really hear what she said after that. I just stared, unblinking, in the direction of the master bedroom. Victor, was he resting now? The woman glanced at her watch, as if reminding me, "Mr. Victor isn't home. He went abroad, with a flight probably tomorrow morning. Have Mr. Victor's change of clothes and breakfast ready for tomorrow morning." I nodded blankly. She went to the guest room, changed into business attire, and left. Aside from me, the Fu residence had a driver and a gardener. The driver, Leo, exchanged a few courtesies with me, and I couldn't help but ask, "Who was that?" "Leo, you mean Miss Anna? Mr. Victor's secretary. She helps Mr. Victor handle both company matters and the trifles of daily life. It seems Mr. Victor quite likes Miss Anna." A sour taste spread quickly through me. I've always understood how people grow cold once someone leaves. I don't expect Victor to remain single and unmarried for my sake until the end. But knowing there's a new woman by his side still made me very sad. When Leo took me for a walk in the garden, a huge black shape suddenly leapt out from the side, knocked me down, and then went crazy licking my face. I looked closely at what was in my arms. Dowdu? When I found Dowdu back then, he was only a palm-sized puppy. Victor didn't like cats or dogs. When I secretly stuffed Dowdu into my coat and brought him home, Victor caught me red-handed. His foot was a little better then, he could walk with a crutch. Seeing Dowdu in my arms, his brow furrowed so tightly it could have squashed a mosquito. "Let's raise it together, okay?" I pestered him, whispering in his ear whenever I could, "Look how cute it is. Getting a dog is great, maybe one day if I'm not around it'll keep you company." He suddenly exploded, "How long do dogs live?" "Summer, what nonsense are you spouting? Do you even understand what it means to avoid tempting fate?" I wasn't in a great mood myself at the time. My parents were forcing me to break up with Victor and were setting me up with other prospective matches. Last week when I went home, Mom tugged at me, "Summer, Victor may be a decent kid, but his background is really terrible. He's an illegitimate child, his family doesn't acknowledge him, his mother died early, his leg is crippled. Are you really planning to go and help someone like that? Haven't we had enough stories about heartless men?" I only told them, Victor isn't that kind of person. He had pretty good conditions when he was a child, it was just that the family fell on hard times. He would never be some cold-hearted, unfeeling man. Not so many people are born with silver spoons in their mouths. There are those who come from poor families but have ambition. They need time to grow. So when Victor blew up at me, the tears suddenly poured out. I grabbed Dodo and ran to the rented room. I squat shamelessly in the little garden downstairs and just cried. After half an hour, just as Victor hadn't come down to find me and I stood up peering into the stairwell, a tall shadow appeared behind me. Victor's pants were all muddy, his arm was grazed, obviously he'd taken a fall. His dark eyes locked onto me, and finally he reached out, held me, then ruffled my hair. Good, don't be angry anymore. I was the one who spoke too loudly. My fault. You can keep whatever you want to keep, I don't mind. It turned out that as soon as I ran out the door, he chased after me. I ran fast, he was on a crutch and hurriedly followed me out of the complex. He even fell down outside. From that day on, Dowdo officially became a member of our family. Only, we hadn't seen each other in so long. Dowdo had turned into an old dog. Leo jumped in surprise and quickly pulled Dowdo aside. Sorry, didn't mean to startle you, did I? This dog is usually pretty fierce. Whenever a stranger comes to the house, he barks at them. He's acting strange today, don't know what's gotten into him, being so friendly with you. I stood up from the ground and looked down at Dowdo. His wet eyes stared at me without blinking. His mouth panted, wheezing. Every now and then he gave a little tremble. I was about to cry and hurriedly tried not to look upset. Maybe it's because we also have a dog at home, so I smell like pets. Leo nodded, that's actually good. The previous helpers were all afraid to feed him, thought he was fierce. Leo had to step away. Taking advantage of the empty space, I rushed over to Dowdo, who was tied beside the doghouse. I buried my face in his back, snot and tears streaming. Dowdo was howling too. It was the first time I'd ever heard such a sorrowful wail from a dog. I was sobbing so hard I could hardly catch my breath when a familiar, deep male voice sounded behind me, "Who are you?" Compared to 2 years ago, the man's voice carried more maturity and steadiness. When I heard Victor's voice, I froze in terror, utterly motionless. My mind buzzed and went blank. Dodo obediently rested his chin on my thigh, peeking one eye to look at Victor behind me. Turn around. The man's voice was heavily oppressive. I didn't move. I still hadn't figured out how to face him. Dodo, come here. Probably afraid I, a stranger, would hurt Dodo, Victor called out. His voice was a bit softer than when he questioned me. But Dodo didn't move, burrowed in my arms. Victor's patience was clearly near its limit. He said impatiently, I'll ask you one last time, who are you, and why are you in my house? So fierce. Leo hurried over to defuse the situation for me. Mr. Victor, this is the new maid Clara. Only then did I turn around. All the while I kept my head down, not daring to look at him. Victor finally relaxed his guard, but when he saw Dowdo kissing me like that, he frowned. Leo helped explain again, she has dogs at home too, probably Dowdo smelled them. It's a good thing Dowdo isn't aggressive toward her. I gently patted Dowdo's rump. Only then did it lower its head and grudgingly walk over to Victor. Victor bent down and stroked its head. You little heartless thing, already not kissing Daddy anymore? He speaks to Dowdo so tenderly. Just like the way he used to soothe me. Back when we had no money, we rented a very, very old apartment complex, a basement unit. At night the pipes would freeze from the cold. We couldn't even afford the heating then, so at night we'd bundle up in our clothes and burrow under the quilt. Dowdo slept at our feet, keeping our toes warm. Victor would tuck my hand against his chest. I counted his heartbeats and the sound of his breathing as I drifted off. Later in the night, I turned over because I was too hot. He still held me tightly. In a hazy, dreamlike stupor, I felt him place a kiss at the nape of my neck and say, Summer. From now on I'll make sure you have a good life, a big house, and you can dress beautifully every day. I believed him. Always believed. But just when Victor was working himself to the bone, digging up his first pot of gold, he took my hand and led me to a newly finished, lovely residential complex. He put the keys in my hand and opened the door. He lifted me up and spun me around the rooms, holding me close. Then he kissed me solemnly, Summer. We have a home. I buried my head in his chest and sobbed. He didn't know. I had just come from the hospital. I had the diagnosis. I had cancer. After I fell ill, I did my best to cooperate with the treatment and took my medicine on time, but the results were no good at all. Fortunately, it didn't fall on him. I had less than a month left. I don't want to die, I want to live. My future with Victor had only just begun, how could it end like this? The day Victor saw my diagnosis report in the cabinet, I saw him freeze for a moment. Then he went out to the balcony and smoked in silence. After a long time, I saw him leaning against the wall, covering his face and crying soundlessly, trembling all over. When he had pulled himself together, he came back to my bedside and knelt down. He held my hand and kissed it again and again. The back of my hand was damp. Summer. He thought I was asleep. Don't be afraid. Even in death, on the road to the underworld, I'll be with you. I clamped my hand over his mouth. Victor. I made a deadly vow, if you dare do anything stupid for me, I will never forgive you even if I die. In the next life I absolutely will not wait for you. I pointed to Daudu lying on the rug by the bed. You still have Daudu. If you die too, Daudu will have no parents. It's already so old, what if some bad people sell it? I forced him to swear as well. It was the first time I had seen such a big grown man kneel on the floor, crying so helplessly and sorrowfully. Tears were about to spill again. I was just about to speak, to say something to him now. Miss Anna appeared. She walked over holding a stack of documents, then briefed him on some company matters. Victor listened quietly, occasionally looking down to fuss with Daudu. Anna saw me standing nearby. Mr. Victor got home early, these adjustments happen often. Don't just stand there. Go prepare dinner. Pay attention. I instinctively replied, less oil, less salt, no cilantro, strawberry and egg allergies, right? I took the call. The air was silent for a moment. Anna and Victor both looked over at me. Especially Victor. His expression changed slightly as he looked at me. I hurried to make up for it. Oh, the company's recruiter showed me the materials, I've memorized them all. But Anna didn't seem to believe me. In a couple of days the household will have a cook starting, why would you need to memorize this? Victor's inscrutable look made me nervous. I immediately explained again, oh, the company is pretty strict, even for a 2-day substitute, you have to know this by heart. Anna seemed to want to say more. Bring me the agenda for tomorrow's company meeting. Victor, however, didn't seem inclined to continue the topic. Anna could only turn her attention away from me. Okay, I'll go get it from the car. I don't know why. I felt that Miss Anna held a strong hostility toward me. I went to the kitchen to prepare dinner. To be honest, I'm not very good at cooking. After so many years with Victor, I still can't seem to learn. He's usually busy with work and studies, and when mealtimes come he always has to find time to help me cook. Once, I saw he was so tired his eyelids could barely stay open. I told him to go lie down in the bedroom for a while. Still, he ended up burning the rice. Just when I was fretting, Victor woke up. He leaned lazily against the doorframe with his arms folded and watched me with a smile. Seeing how stressed I looked, he came over, tossed a few cloves of garlic into the pot and stuck in a few scallions. Is that enough? He curved his lips without answering directly, simply turning his head to capture my mouth and kissing me slowly and unhurriedly. SSS. The rice was starting to burn again. I took advantage of no one noticing and hurriedly, flustered, threw in some scallions and garlic. After a while, the rice really had no burnt taste at all. I set the dishes on the table. When Anna saw the food, her eyes nearly popped out. This? You're giving Mr. Victor shredded potatoes, stir-fried pork, and mapo tofu? I was stunned too. What's wrong with these dishes? These are already the best I can cook. What, now that he's a CEO he can't eat home cooking? Does he expect lobster and abalone every day? Anna rolled her eyes. So greasy, and so ordinary. Fine, I'll call the cook and hurry her along. No need. Victor had already come over and sat down at the table. Homestyle dishes are fine. When he saw the food on the table, he took a bite of the shredded potatoes and paused. Maybe he was startled by how thick I had cut them, thicker than my fingers. He didn't move his chopsticks for a long while. He just lowered his eyes and stared motionless at that plate of shredded potatoes. I felt embarrassed myself. Mr. Victor, I'm out of practice, I really don't know how to cook. Why don't we have someone else make it again? Anna saw Victor say nothing, took a pair of chopsticks and tried the taste. She was silent for a moment. It's not that you're out of practice, you simply don't know how to do it at all. It's so salty, and you put chili in it, how is this supposed to be eaten? Anna. Victor suddenly cut off her complaint. You should be off work. Anna was about to say something else. Victor waved his hand, as if shooing her away. Anna pointed at me, huffed, and left. Don't be afraid. Victor still didn't look at me. He reached out his chopsticks to pick up another dish. You cook very well, it suits my taste. I brightened, so can I keep cooking for you? He didn't look at me. Only then did I dare to study him closely. He had gotten so thin. The flesh on his cheeks had sunk slightly against the bone, making him seem sharper overall. He used to be so healthy under my care, muscular, all sinew. No need. He refused my offer to cook. It seems it really was awful. Cooking is tiring, he said. You just do your part and take good care of Dowdo. I suddenly remembered before, when I said that after we married I'd take over cooking for him. I'd find a cooking class and really improve my skills. But he said no. When we have money, I'll hire a helper to cook. I'll cook when I have time. Summer, I'm not marrying you so you'll be stuck in the kitchen every day. You still have a whole life and time ahead of you. I'd rather you go out more, see more, and visit sites you've never seen. Dowdo was yelping, probably hungry. I went to scoop some dog food for him. He ate while glancing up at me from time to time, as if I weren't watching he'd bolt. After he finished, I played frisbee with Dowdo in the garden. It had once been his favorite game. I pretended to throw the disc, hiding it behind me. I did that 3 times in a row before finally tossing it for real. Dowdo used to be fooled by me. Later he got clever. But to make me happy, he goes along and pretends to be tricked. It was the same this time. When I threw it at the end, Dowdo went deliriously happy and dashed off to fetch the frisbee. I was happy too. I whistled excitedly. But suddenly, Victor's voice cut in, a little urgent, and my wrist was gripped. You, who are you, really? 2 years ago, when I had just died. Victor promised me. He said he'd be fine. He'd eat properly, sleep properly, keep working properly, and he'd take good care of Dowdo. But after my soul drifted out of my body, I saw Victor holding my corpse and crying like a child. 2 whole days. He was like a lonely beast who had lost its mate. On the verge of losing control. He wouldn't allow anyone to touch my body. Even if I had to be cremated. He cried day and night. Sat on the floor, gripping my hand, calling my name over and over. Calling me his wife. On the day I was cremated, he rushed forward as if possessed. It was as if he wanted nothing more than to go into the furnace with me. A few male friends struggled greatly to hold him down. Victor, pull yourself together, your sister-in-law will be heartbroken to see you like this. Yeah, Victor, accept it and move on. But Victor suddenly went as limp as if all his strength had been drained, as if his body had been hollowed out. He knelt on the ground clutching my portrait. Head bowed, he howled and cried. And I could only hover in the distance, my panic making me spin in circles. I went mad too. Frantically I fought, struggling as if insane to float downward, trying to embrace him one more time. But soon a powerful suction from behind swept me away. When I woke again, I was already in the river of forgetting. But I had spent 2 whole years crossing it and still couldn't get across. I couldn't forget the past. Even the king of hell grew annoyed. Only then was I granted one chance to be resurrected. Although I was borrowing someone else's body, I was already very satisfied. To be able to see him again. To see that he was still alive and well. That was enough to make me happy. Mr. Victor, what's wrong? I'm Clara. I turned around and forced a smile onto my face. I am Clara. An ordinary girl of unremarkable looks, Clara. Someone who can no longer have a future or entanglement with him. I don't know, maybe at any moment I'll have to leave this world again. So I cannot reveal myself to him. I couldn't let him endure the pain of losing me again. In the black depths of his eyes, I could even see my own face. Plain. Ordinary. Skin a bit dark, a few small freckles on his cheeks. He stared at me intently, the depths of his pupils roiling with heavy feelings and emotion. Mr. Victor? He came back to himself. A flash of disappointment showed in his eyes. It's nothing. He let go of my hand. You remind me of someone. I couldn't help asking, who? He watched Dowda racing back toward us with the frisbee in his mouth, his tone obscure, my wife. A flicker went through me. Your wife. I heard she passed away. He made a small sound of affirmation. He sat down on the bench on the lawn. 2 years, he said softly. Like you, she would add garlic when she burned the food. I'm a bit drenched in sweat. Turns out he saw right through me. She's not good at cooking either, she always cuts the shredded potatoes way too thick. Even the way you two cook tastes the same. I suddenly felt guilty. I saw you throwing the frisbee just now. I almost mistook her for you. He stretched his legs out, elbows resting on his knees. Dowda fetched the frisbee in its mouth, it wanted to give it to me. I gave it a look. It actually understood. It lowered its head and handed the frisbee to Victor. Victor laughed, but how could you possibly be her? When I used to be with her, Dowda would always run to her without hesitation. Dead people cannot be resurrected. I must truly be mad to have mistaken you for her. I didn't know what to say, nor how to comfort him. One must look forward, Mr. Victor. Your wife would surely want you to be well. I think that Miss Anna was really quite a good person. Victor suddenly lost all expression, stood up with his hands in his pockets and left. Starting tomorrow I'm going to Jolling Mountain for a while. Take good care of Dowda for me. How can you be back for such a short while and already leaving again? I watched his retreating figure reluctantly. I saw him take out his phone and make a call. Anna, pack up the company's important documents from recent times. Tomorrow to Jolling Mountain. So he had arranged for Anna to accompany him. I stood there, a little at a loss. Suddenly I didn't know what to do with myself. I've already seen him. With Anna there, he also seems intent on moving on. My presence has become optional. The next day after Victor left, he was going to Jolling Mountain for half a month. On the 4th day I began to pack up the room. There were very few things in his room, clean and simple, like a show home. I couldn't find any of my things either. Surely he wouldn't have thrown everything away? If he did throw them away, that's fine. Objects evoke memories. Keeping them would only increase the pain. The whole villa was almost spotless. It had a full smart home system. Nothing much required me to handle personally. When I cleaned into that locked room, curiosity outweighed reason. The door had a combination lock. I entered only one set of digits. My birthday. The lock opened. The door eased open. It was pitch dark inside. I drew back the curtains and dust motes whirled. I finally saw what the room was hiding. The arrangements in that room, the furniture, everything, every single thing, was an exact recreation of the basement we had lived in for 5 years. If it weren't for the sound of the robot vacuum, I would have suspected I had returned to that old basement. Even the bathroom had been finished to look like that narrow toilet from the basement back then. I look at the mirror. In front of the mirror sit my comb and skincare products. Some of them have even expired. He never dared to throw them away. Back then, washing my hair in the basement bathroom, the hot water would often cut out halfway through. I would chatter my teeth from the cold. While boiling water in the kettle, he would pour it over me to rinse. By the time it was his turn, the hot water was gone. To save that little bit of electricity, he would just rinse himself off with half-cold water. After drying his hair, he would quickly burrow into the covers. I wanted to warm his hands. He crossed his arms and refused to let me. I'm cold, I'll hold you later, be good. And now, in the wardrobe, all of my things are there. My clothes hang side by side with his. As if we were an old married couple who had lived together for decades. Including the sheets. They're still made up with my favorite little daisy floral 4-piece set. I walk to the bedside and sit down. I open the closet and take out my diary. After my death, some time later, someone continued writing in it. It was Victor's handwriting, strong and flowing. At a glance it was his script. Only some parts seemed to have been blurred by water stains. November 7, 2022. Summer, today is the start of winter. I ate dumplings. Do they have dumplings where you are? I cooked extra at noon and left them on the table. Did you get any? So fast, it's already been 2 months since you left. Are you down there going hungry? Do you have enough money? Are you being bullied? If so, send me a dream and tell your husband. I'll find a powerful priest to go give them a piece of my mind. November 22, 2022. Summer, it's lightly snowing today. So cold. The underfloor heating at home is on full, yet I still feel cold. Maybe because I can't hold you anymore. In winters past, you were like a little stove. Holding you, I could sleep peacefully. Summer, now I lie awake night after night, unable to sleep. January 21, 2023. Summer, I came to your parents' place to celebrate the new year. They are in good health, no need to worry. Summer, I stole all your childhood photos. There are so many I'd never seen before. Turns out you had ugly stages too. Your parents said the old man next door recently lost his wife. A few days ago he woke up in the middle of the night, saying he'd seen his dead wife, screamed in fright, and was hospitalized. Summer. I'm really angry. Others have their wives come to see them. Why can't you come to my dreams to see me? I've never once dreamed of you. February 7, 2023. Work has been so busy lately, I'm so tired. But it seems that by keeping busy I can numb my mind that keeps missing you. Maybe it won't hurt so much. March 10, 2023. I'm really angry. The kind you can't be coaxed out of. Last night I finally dreamed of you once. I wanted to talk to you, but you ran off at once. Dowda kept barking all night. Could it really have been you coming to see me? Next time tell me earlier. How many days has it been since I shaved? May 12, 2023. Summer. I now have a great deal of money, so much we couldn't spend it all in another lifetime. But you're not by my side, and none of it means anything anymore. June 1, 2023. Summer. I went to donate. I fulfilled one of your old wishes. I gave a lot of money to the children in the mountain areas, set up a fund for them. I also had many primary schools rebuilt. You would be happy for me, right? My tears hadn't stopped from the moment I saw the diary. But when I read the entries for the following days, a chill ran through me. April 28, 2024. The wish list is almost complete. Only one thing left: climb Joling Mountain to watch the sunrise. Summer, forgive me for breaking my promise. I can't get out of this. Please forgive me. Summer, wait for me. I'll come be with you soon. Reading this, my blood ran cold, as if I'd fallen into an ice hole. Victor, was he going to kill himself? How did you get in here? Anna's scream shattered the room's silence. She patted her chest, still shaking. My God. This room was locked. How did you get in? Haven't I told you, Mr. Victor doesn't allow anyone into this room. Are you doing this on purpose? I've always thought something was off about you. Are you here to steal from the Fu family? Speak. If you don't, get out of the Fu house right now. You're fired. Anna? Isn't she supposed to be with Victor up on Jiuling Mountain? Ignoring her tirade, I pulled out my phone and called Victor. The phone was off. I was frantic. I could barely stand. I rushed over and grabbed her arm. Where's Victor? Where on Jiuling Mountain is he? When Anna and I hurried to Jiuling Mountain Villa together, the hotel room was empty. His luggage and other belongings were all there. The hotel clerk said he had set off yesterday afternoon with a backpack to hike up the mountain. Anna was terrified too. How could this be? Mr. Victor has always been perfectly normal. How could he have lost hope like that? Rescue teams for mountain searches arrived as well. I went with them to look. In this season on Jiuling Mountain, the weather is capricious. It's easy to lose body heat. And once hypothermia sets in, a person becomes extremely dangerous. By almost midnight, a thick fog rolled into the mountains. The rescuers suggested pausing the search to avoid causing new casualties. Yet somehow, as if guided by something unseen, I felt that Victor was not far from me. While they rested, I set off down a small trail. 2 hours later, in a mountain hollow, I found Victor, already unconscious. His leg was injured. I hoisted him onto my back. The advantage of this body revealed itself. Strong and sturdy, I could carry a nearly 6'2" man like Victor without much effort. The moon and the mountain led our way. I called his name. Victor, don't sleep, you promised me. If you dare fall asleep on me again, I swear I'll never speak to you. If you come looking for me, I'll immediately be reborn. I'll grow up quickly and marry someone else. Don't marry someone else. The person on my back stirred, voice hoarse, consciousness seeming clouded. Summer? It must be another dream. This dream is too good, I hope I never wake up. I choked on my sobs. You have to wake up. You have to take care of my parents. Take care of Dowdu. Victor, you promised me, you can't go back on your word. I carried him to the nearest forest cabin. After alerting the rescue team, I lit a fire and gave him some supplements to restore his strength. His mouth was clamped shut. Thin lips pressed tight. His eyelashes cast a bluish-black shadow across his face. I had no choice. I took a gulp of the supplement, bowed my head, and poured it into his mouth. His lips were dry, and mine cold. When I pried his mouth open, his Adam's apple bobbed. At last he swallowed. I repeated the process. I fed him an entire can of the supplement. His body slowly began to warm. Just as I rose after feeding him the last bite, his hand suddenly rose and pressed against the back of my neck. It forced us to deepen the kiss. Lips and tongues met, entwined and chaste. I was crying, and so was he. But he later briefly lost strength and slipped into a short sleep. The rescuers arrived too. Anna, tears streaking her face, rushed over as if she were truly worried about Victor. Victor was hospitalized. He seemed to think what happened in the cabin had only been a dream. I went to see him with the driver. Anna stopped me. It wasn't as tense as before. But there was still hostility. I don't know what you're trying to do, and thank you for saving Mr. Victor yesterday. But you need to understand that your actions have far exceeded your duties. She took out a thick stack of envelopes. There's 50,000 here as my thanks for you saving Mr. Victor. But you're fired. I didn't take them. I glanced at him from the window from afar and then left. Victor's perspective, I had a very long dream. I dreamed that Summer came back. I even dreamed she lowered her head and kissed me. I also dreamed she cried as she cursed him, saying if he didn't stop thinking like that she would marry someone else. I wouldn't allow it. If she really married someone else, I would be driven mad with jealousy. Actually, this wasn't the first time I'd been unable to hold myself together. The first time was not long after Summer's burial. I stood on the rooftop, watching the unending stream of cars far below. I was just about to dive headfirst when someone grabbed my hand. It was a little girl. Her face was round, and she was holding a hair elastic. Her eyes looked a lot like Summer's. She told me, "Big brother, if you fall like that you'll smash into pieces. It would be awful to look at. Your family would surely be heartbroken." Yeah. It would definitely be fucking awful. Summer loved to touch my face. If I were too ugly, she would certainly look down on me. Later I found a wish list in Summer's diary. It was all the things she wanted to do with me. I have to do them first. That way, when I go down to see her again, maybe she'll be a little less mad at me. Those 2 years were a constant blur of busyness. But time felt so long to me. Summer. I realized that the days when you weren't here were the longest, most unbearable years in the world. The day I came home, I actually found a woman in the house. She was holding Dodo. Dodo's gaze was so gentle. I felt, this woman. She actually looked a little like my wife. In truth, their faces and figures were completely different. Yet for some reason, in my heart I just felt that this person, she was my wife, returned or reborn. But I couldn't say it aloud. I was afraid of scaring her. I was also afraid that I was simply mad, that only madness could make me think such a thing. It wasn't until she finished cooking that meal and threw the frisbee that I was completely, utterly certain. She was Summer. But she didn't seem willing to recognize him. She even tried to set me up with another woman. In this world, who would have exactly the same habits and mannerisms as someone else? I was completely bewildered. I had to hurry to Jiaoling Mountain. I needed to ask the master whether Summer had returned. If she had, I had to quickly fulfill my vow. Then hide her away. The master was in retreat. When I saw him on the 3rd day, he only told me, "It seems an old acquaintance has come." That was it. I knelt in the temple and kept banging my forehead against the floor. I was so happy I didn't even know what to do with my hands and feet. There was no signal in the mountains. On the way down he accidentally slipped into a hollow, hit his head, and broke his leg. He also fell unconscious. In the haze, I seemed to be carried on someone's back. She cried as she begged me to live well. I also wanted to live well. But she didn't understand. The only meaning in my life that got me this far was her. To make money, to buy a big house. Everything was for her. She was the driving force that carried him forward. And now, I have lost my heart. How am I supposed to live? When I woke up in the hospital, I finally learned that Anna had actually fired her behind my back. I flew into a huge rage, scrambled upright from the bed, but collapsed onto the floor. Anna froze in terror. When the caregiver helped me back onto the bed, Anna burst into tears. "Mr. Victor, I've been with you for 2 years, how can you treat me like this over a nanny?" I pointed toward the doorway. "You aren't the only person on my secretary team. The others were just delayed abroad because of a major contract. Recently, the only reason you had the chance to stay by my side was because Secretary Liu liked you and privately begged me to give you more opportunities to prove yourself. But the day I returned, I saw on the surveillance footage that you apparently changed clothes in my house on purpose, and even hid a piece of underwear in the room, didn't you? Who were you doing all that for?" I sneered at her without mercy, my eyes full of disgust. "You don't measure up to a single strand of my wife's hair." "Anna, but what does that have to do with that caregiver?" I couldn't be bothered to explain, pointing to the door. "Get out. You're fired." I couldn't wait and had someone fetch her cane, then went home. I called her frantically. But the calls wouldn't go through. I had people searching for her. I was even ready to call the police. But no one believed me. That person was her wife who had once died. A bad thought suddenly rose in my mind. Had she disappeared again? I paced around the room like a madman. I saw Dowdu, restless and agitated. I had someone loosen the leash keeping Dowdu tied. With a whoosh, Dowdu dashed out. In the end, Dowdu found her in a small garden near the house. Just like that year when we had an argument, she had turned and run out. I ended up finding her in the little garden as well. Now she was squatting on the flower bed watching ants fight. Though her face was unmistakably different, I was still certain. This person was Summer. Summer. Summer trembled. Reflexively she turned her head. Her pupils were full of shock. Just like before. The kind of face that couldn't hide being pleased at finding money. Summer's perspective, I followed Victor back to his home. We sat in the room he had arranged, cuddled up against each other. It felt as if we had returned to the days gone by. We watched the movie playing on the projector. We didn't say much. Yet somehow it made us feel at peace. I don't know if it's because I'm a returned soul, but at night I don't feel sleepy at all. Victor took painkillers and fell asleep quickly. His arm was wrapped tightly around me, and even in sleep he wouldn't let go. It's almost the 7th day. I already have a faint sense that I'm about to leave. Victor and I finished another simple home-cooked meal. Then I crawled back into bed. I gave him his medicine. After a while, he suddenly asked me, "Are you still going to leave?" I nodded. Yes, these are the few days I stole. I nestled against his chest and poked his face. You. Remember not to cry again, okay? I can see it, when you cry I'm just beside myself with worry. He made a soft affirmative sound. I went on nagging, "Promise me one more thing." He was silent for a moment, then agreed. I turned his face toward me to look into his eyes. His eyes were rimmed with red. "Every summer from now on, go see the sea for me. Take my photo and visit every different sea in the world." He was crying uncontrollably. My body grew lighter and lighter. He bent down and kissed my lips. "Summer, don't go. Summer, I love you. I love you too, Victor. I hope you'll cherish the days to come and continue living well." In the end, I disappeared into that room. But I knew. He would never again be as despairing as he once was. Side story, tell me, what on earth are you so hung up about? I squatted at the head of the Naiha Bridge, lecturing a man who refused to cross. You want to be a holdout like me? Fine, now you'll be stuck here being punished by helping ferry people across. The man made a sound. How long is the punishment? Me, I don't know either. Maybe 100 years? Wait and see. Wait until Victor's life ends, wait until he comes down. I'll reincarnate with him. The man gulped down the mangpa soup in one go, then forget it. Mangpa and I watched the man flee and couldn't stop laughing. Summer. Someone on the bridge suddenly called my name. My eyes instantly filled with tears. Only 10 years. Victor, you. Victor smiled crookedly, died peacefully in his sleep. I didn't believe it. Mangpa slipped me a secret, he wasn't lying. Yesterday he saved 3 drowning children, his merits complete, so he passed away peacefully. Only then did my anger fade. I wiped my tears and reached out to him from afar. Then let's go. I've been waiting for you for a long time. He stepped forward, took my hand. He held me close, his eyes both doting and clingy. I've been waiting a long time too. Wife.